Hi folks, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Kat. I'm a licensed registered dietitian nutritionist and online nutrition coach. I focus in on sports nutrition, gut health, and prenatal nutrition. Today we're chatting with Amber Nye. She is a anti-MLM YouTube creator. She shares a lot about her history with BeachBody and also talking about dieting culture. Anybody who talks about that, I'm going to try to make them my friend. But that is what we are chatting about today. She is sharing some of her history with BeachBody, talking about her experience as a former Beachbody coach and how it harmed her relationship with food and body and how recovery has been outside of Beachbody. So the nature of this video is discussing diet issues, diet culture. So if you feel like that might be triggering, you might want to skip this video. As you watch this video, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments on it. And always remember, you can share any of your stories with me. My email is in the description box down below. And everything in this video is our opinion and for education and entertainment purposes. Let's go. Amber, thank you so much for coming on. I'm really excited to talk about everything, your experience with Beachbody and how we got connected. Tell the audience a little bit about who you are, what you do.
Thank you so much for having me on your channel. I'm Amber Nye. I've been part of the anti-MLM movement for about 2.5, going on 3 years now since I left Beachbody. And I was in Beachbody for 5 years total. I started in 2013 and I left in 2018. And originally I found out about Beachbody because I had just had my second baby. So I was very self-conscious about the way my body looked post baby. I was very self-conscious with how much weight I had gained with that pregnancy. I had a whole bunch of issues. I had preeclampsia, so I had extra swelling and weight gain and health issues with that. And one night, up feeding baby late at night, pops the infomercial, and it was for Insanity. So I ordered Insanity off of the infomercial. And I didn't even know that the coaching side was a thing until probably 5-6 months later.
And was it at that point? Because at a point it was only, right, the infomercial before it became
I think it was probably maybe 2 years into the coaching. They had only started the coaching side maybe 2010, 2011, I think. So the coaching side was still fairly new. And, we had moved for my husband to start medical school. So I was in a new place with, 2 little kids and far away from home, didn't know anybody, didn't have any help, and I couldn't find a job. So in posting about, my Insanity progress and that on Facebook, I caught the attention of some friends or friends of friends who were Beachbody coaches. And they came to me and they're like, oh, you know what? Because they saw me posting about not being able to find a job and all that stuff. And they were like, you could work from home and do this and not have to worry about paying for daycare or, missing out on these pivotal times in your kids' lives. And you can make an income from home. And so to me, that was very, I was very attracted by that. That very enticed me a lot because, Jake being in medical school, he was gone all the time. So it was just me and myself and 2 little kids, and seeing the community behind it and having a team there online. It helped me to meet new people where I wasn't before, and gave me that community that they always push. We're a sisterhood and we're a family and all that kind of stuff. So that's how I got into the coaching side of it. And from there, I kind of just, I like initially I had got into the coaching thing because like around that time T25 came out. So I was like, well, I guess I'll do the coaching because I want T25, so I'll get the discount on it. So I got the challenge pack for it. And I at first I didn't really do much with it until maybe 2-3 months after I had signed up. My upline coach had arranged a like Zoom meeting team call kind of thing with Lindsay Matway. And I got on that call,
And
and
she's the top Beachbody.
like one of the like very top, like she's been top elite coach for a number of years. And she had like replied to one of my comments on there, and I was like, oh my gosh, like she replied to me because I had talked about how I was living, we were on a very restricted income and living off food stamps and Medicaid. And she was like, oh, when I started my Beachbody job, we were on food stamps too, and now ta-da, this is where I'm at, only in, I think at that point, she'd been in it maybe 3-4 years, because like I said, the coaching side was still pretty new at that point. And so from there, because they really encouraged you to, sign up to hit Emerald, that first rank, to sign up your spouse or a family member. And then, by then you just need to find one more person to get you to Emerald. So I had signed up Jake, and then I had gotten my cousin to sign up as a coach. So like after that team call, I'd went Emerald like 2 weeks after that. And from there, I just kind of like really kind of engrossed myself within the team and within the culture of the team. And it took me 3 years to hit diamond. It took 3 years because it was 2016 that I hit diamond. And so like I was working really, really hard to do that. So when people say, or the haters come at me like, oh, you failed because you didn't work hard enough, and or anything, or you didn't try hard enough, and I'm like, no, I worked my ass off at this. I dedicated my whole life to it at that fact, because it was Beachbody is your life, because if you work hard at this for this amount of time, then it'll benefit you in a year or two from now.
Work now so that, what's that saying that they always say, like work hard now so that
you can you can play later or whatever.
And I remember watching you on Alonda's channel, Recovering Humbot. You had mentioned how you were always on your phone and not able to be present with your children because of working the business, when they promised you this is how you're going to have more time with your children.
They really preach the you can work this business in those gaps in your day. So like
golden moments.
if you're so if you're when your kids are taking a nap, or after you put them to bed, my upline really preached I only did 2 hours a day to do this. And she was a childless person. Her husband at the time was in the military. That's how she got into it. So she was very free person. She didn't have a lot of the constraints that pretty much everybody else on our team had, who were moms. But it was very much preached, that 10-hour work week, doing it 2 hours a day. But really it was all day long, because if you you were speaking to someone, you were forming them, chatting them up, earning their trust. I mean, that was, oh crap, sorry.
Self-development.
Doing the self-development and just always being glued to your phone, because if somebody messaged you or had a question, you had to answer them right away and make sure that you were on it so that they didn't go seek that question somewhere else, or they didn't Google it, or if they were on the fence of buying something from you, that you were there to help them and make that sale right when they needed it. So I mean, it was constantly on my phone, scrolling, posting on Facebook, posting on Instagram, being in the team pages, to being engaged. And by the time I was very established Emerald rank, and I was climbing the ladder, and I reached diamond, my upline had asked me to help make trainings for the team. And because what I was doing was working, keeping those certain posts, like my fitness posts and my inspirational posts, public, they saw that I was getting a lot of traction from that, and I was getting a lot of people following me from that, like from my Facebook. So they would, ask me to make trainings on how to do all that. And it was just very very exhausting. And I wasn't able to really be present with my kids or with my husband when he was home. And, even if we would be having dinner, my phone would go off and I would be scrolling, and he'd be like, get off of your phone, like, just put it down. And I was like, I can't, like, this person, they want to challenge back. I have to make the sale, or else, I'm trying to bring in this income for us, so we're not, struggling anymore. But
they could be that one person to like make your team grow.
Yeah. And like, they could be the person that I signed up, and then they just like explode. Yeah. Like my upline, she had 3 personally sponsored coaches that ended up being elite top coaches. So, by that luck, she'd always say, you never know who you talk to. That's going to be the next person that could, be that big part of your downline, or, et cetera. So
you're always worried and on edge, trying to make sure that you talk to everybody and everything. So because of what you talk about a lot on your Instagram, Facebook, and on your YouTube channel, you focus in on the problems within the structure, but you also have an element of nutrition. And that's really where we both are very passionate about talking about within the industry. Can you tell us a little bit about how you felt with the nutrition side of BeachBody, and kind of how it was at first a very positive thing, and how, or, if it was, before it kind of later turned not so positive?
Yeah. So, like when I initially signed up, they hadn't had the 21-day fix meal plan, like the portion control containers yet. Each program they had like a separate like nutrition guide of like, meal plans that they could plan out, and recipes and that kind of stuff. But then when, it was like spring of 2014, I think, when 21-day fix came out. And, they really started pushing, you don't have to worry about counting your calories or anything like that, because we have the portion control containers. And they're like, it was it's going to make your journey just that much easier, and, less stressful, because you just have your certain number of containers every day that you need, and you just hit those, and you're going to hit your fitness goals. So at first that made a lot of sense to me, especially being a busy mom. It was easier for me to be able to like meal plan and stick to my meal plan by having those containers. And I actually ended up winning $500 for my 21-day fix results.
Oh, wow.
And I got a spot in one of the 21-day fix infomercials. So I was like, oh my God, like everybody was like hyping me up and like, oh my God, look, this is a coach on my team. And she's such a great example and role model. But little did they know that behind the scenes, after all that, and after every round of 21 Day Fix that I completed, I binged, and I binged hardcore for probably, I'd take like a week off between rounds and I would just binge that whole time. And then I'd, start all over again from the beginning. And that's really where I started losing, like I lost technically 60 pounds doing it. But once I reached like my goal weight, I still didn't feel any better about myself. As I felt the same way as I did 60 pounds heavier than I did, now at my smallest size. And that's where, the body dysmorphia issues came in. And, just like I look back now and I see pictures of myself and I'm like, I was so thin. Like I was so thin, especially I'm a tall girl. So being like 140, 145 pounds for me and my height, like I was thin.
That's low.
I had no butt. My boobs were gone. Like my mom had come to visit us one time and she was helping us with laundry and she held up one of my sports bras and she goes, whose bra is this? It looks like a child. I was like, oh, thanks, Mom. It's mine. I, like that's how tiny I was, but I was still focusing on that little tiny part of my stomach that I had, belly fat on, which is normal for you to
being
have.
A mom. Even without being a mom, that is completely for viewers.
Absolutely normal for you to have, right around your uterus. That is a bodily organ. You're supposed to have that around it to protect it. But, it was that trying to live up to being this role model and being a product of the product that BeachBody constantly pushes on its coaches. And it was really, it really, really wore me down a lot. And because like I said, I was my smallest size and I had went to buy some new clothes and I couldn't find any jeans that fit me. Even at my smallest size, I couldn't find any jeans that fit me right. And I cried in the dressing room because I didn't feel good in the size 16 jeans. And now I didn't feel good in the size 4 jeans, even though I had, proved that I lost this weight and hit this goal. It still changed to nothing.
Mm-hmm. When did you start to realize that it was going south and that your relationship with food and body, there was some issues with that? Like, there was a red flag, multiple red flags. When did you start noticing that?
It was probably after, it was when, once I got pregnant with DJ, and I just kind of started like realizing things.
That's your third, right? That was after
my youngest. Yeah. Because up to then, between doing like 21 Day Fix, like then 80 Day Obsession came out. So I did that and and then Hammer and Chisel too. So I did those two. And
that name, just Hammer and Chisel, like, oh,
yeah. And so like that, I had realized that like I really enjoyed like lifting heavier weights because 21 Day Fix, Autumn, it's all about more lighter weight resistance. It's more, she preached doing more reps at lighter resistance will help you get toned, like it will tone your body. But then I realized, no, I liked lifting heavier. And in doing so, I was lifting heavier, so I needed to eat more food. And that really started messing with my brain because, for 3 years, I had been focusing on, well, I have to focus on my portions and not eat so many carbs or sugary foods. And then now they're saying I need to eat more if I, to tone up or gain more muscle. And so that really started like messing with my head. And that's when I kind of started questioning things like, well, is this really a sustainable plan for me to continue following? Like, because I said it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. But then, it's like, it's a lifestyle, but then they're putting out a new program every 3 months that we have to basically promote, or else we're not going to be successful in our business. Because if we don't promote this certain program and do it the exact way that they say, then how can we say it works?
It's
And
a lifestyle, not a diet, but the lifestyle has nutrition related rules that you have to follow.
And very restrictive rules.
Yeah.
And I meant like some of the recipes were great and I enjoyed them, but there came a point where I was just like, am I gonna be eating like this the rest of my life? Like, just to try to maintain this and this image that I'm trying to project out there to get people to trust me so they'll buy what I'm selling. And then I got pregnant with DJ, and obviously my nutrition went out that restrictive nutrition just went out the door, because I wasn't eating just for myself, but for a baby. So, and by that time, we found out I was high risk because she has the same rare disease that I have. So, not being able to really exercise at, my full,
what you would do before.
what was I was at before. Like they said, oh, you're pregnant, you can show that you're still working out and using these programs. But then, I had to kind of take a chill pill on it, because
So they
I
wanted you to like use your pregnancy to sell, kind of exploit.
yeah, because, my upline was like, this could be your comeback and help you even boost your business and help you rank and advance even higher, because after you have your baby, it's a new before. And I really hate before and after pictures now. I hate them so much, because as we were in those comments on Autumn's reel saying, there is not one specific size that means, that negates health. I was technically at that desirable size, but I was not healthy in my physical health or my mental health. So, I started, that's really like when the body positivity movement started kind of gaining traction too. And I was just like, well, why do I have to prove anybody that my body after I've had a child is not worthy? Like, it just I had completely like done a 180, and I was just like, you know what, my body did an amazing thing, and I'm not going to feel bad for it. And I'm just going to try to love it where I am along my journey. And so that's just kind of when like a lot of my ideas around their whole nutrition changed. And, actually realizing how toxic and dangerous they actually were. So, yeah.
Yeah. The toxicity and these are kind of words that get thrown around a lot, but they are very legitimate. There's a reason why a lot of people use them. The toxicity related to diet culture and those black or white kind of rules and what is good food and bad food is just, it runs rampant in Beachbody. And I know I'm about to actually interview somebody about the 2B mindset and kind of dive into more of that. But like outside of that, and there's even some things within there where I'm like, which I'll have to talk about in another video. But it is just, it's so out there, and it is to a point where a lot of people can't like, they're just not at a place where they recognize the toxicity and the diet culture of that, and how it is harmful, how it's not just, they're just trying to, you know, give you a healthy recipe. Like, it is so much deeper than that. And so in like Autumn's reel that we both talked about, and no, was it that one? Yeah, it was that one that we both shared.
It was the first was the sausage biscuit one.
Sausage biscuit, yeah.
The most recent one with the cheesecake.
Yeah,
we really went hard.
And you have people commenting of like, stay in your lane, and you know, she's trying to do this, and there's so much. It's so like, much.
Yeah, and it's like we were pointing out that Autumn has no education or degree in nutrition to even be educating or guiding people on nutrition or how to eat. Yet, you know, BeachBody frames it like she does, because she says she created this portion control system.
Like, why are you going to have your company be like led by somebody with her background?
Yeah. And you know, they postured her like that she was the authority on that from the very beginning. And that's why I think all of these coaches who have been following her and are like, you know, so loyal to her, that's why they don't realize or want to admit that, you know, she really doesn't have the qualifications to be talking about this to anybody, let alone being put out there by BeachBody to that she has this authority. Because like we said, her tactics and the way that she presents things is dangerous. And with her food shaming and everything she does, like, it's just, it's crazy to me. And especially in those comments when we had people coming at us and they're like, you know nothing about Autumn. And, you know, and then I said, I know everything about her. I followed her meals plans for 5 years. And because of that, I developed disordered eating issues. And, you know, now I literally just make people aware of that. And, you know, this is just me giving my experience. So other people out there who may be going through the same thing from following these meal plans will know that, hey, they're not the only ones that are having this problem.
Right. And it's not, there's been so many other people who have talked about, who've shared about their binge eating between those programs, and having this, creating orthorexia, or having orthorexia spurred on, which is that obsession of healthy eating and healthiness, and that thought that, you know, if you have that cookie or that slice of cake or whatever, that all of a sudden you're going to be sick and be unhealthy.
Or you're going to have to work it off. You
don't deserve that.
Doing the calorie, like the coach he was talking about, the Halloween candy, and you should throw your Halloween candy out because a handful of candy corn was like 180 calories. And she's like, and it's like, you know, I'd have to do 50 burpees to burn that off. It's like, that is not a healthy mindset at all. Like, that's not good. If you're basing your food decisions on how many calories you're going to have to burn off after you eat it, it's not good.
No, it's not healthy. And it leads into this kind of victim, like shaming, like blaming, victim blaming and gaslighting, that if you followed their plan, and maybe, you know, what we know most of the time when people start to change their intake, they will see a pretty quick result. But the more that happens, the slower that is seen. Even if it's not, so there's the idea that, you know, as you get closer to where the weight that your body is comfortable at, that it does start to get slower. There's that. But even outside of that, when you have that and then you regain plus even additional more, it would be, you would think that it would be that same quickness to get to where you were, but it's not, because of the damage that it does.
And because it fucks up your metabolism. Like it just totally screws it up. And yeah, like you said, I would get so close to that weight. And then like those last 10 pounds were so hard to lose. And it was, oh, you've hit a plateau. Why don't you try doing this program instead? And you can break through your plateau. And it was just that constant cycle of, completing the program. Oh, you hit a plateau. We're going to do this other program, and you complete it. And then you binge. And then it's like that constant cycle of losing, that same 15 to 20 pounds over and over and over again. Yet with every new program, you're like, oh, this is how much weight I lost. This is how many inches I lost, when really it was just the same exact cycle every single time.
Instead of just, like, why can't we just focus on having actions that support our physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being? Yeah. Your body will be at a place that's appropriate for you.
Exactly.
So I know that and I want to make everybody aware, because there is a shift going on. I mean, the body positivity movement, health at every size, that has been around for decades, but Instagram has put a lot of fire onto it and made it very popular. There are high-level Beachbody coaches who are now going into more intuitive eating and body positivity. And at the same time, they're still promoting Beachbody. They're telling people to just not listen to the workouts because of the diet talk, but just to still purchase them and still be part of them, and taking before and after pictures. Like, it's not body positivity. It's not truly intuitive eating or health at every size. It is co-opting for more money.
Yeah. And that's, another thing that is part of that, like, internalized, like, negativity that we have surrounding, thin culture and what society deems as like healthy and desirable is, posting, and I really hate it when like moms post their like, 6-week post baby body as their before picture, and then saying that they snapped back like that, or in this much time, when that's not the same for everyone, like everybody, especially the more kids you have, it's harder to snap back with everyone. And your body changes, and your body's not going to be the same, but that's okay. Like, it's okay. And I think, with Beachbody, or any other of these health and fitness companies, Arbonne, just the focus on the fact that, a mother's body, or a larger body for that fact, is just, you should be ashamed of it. It's, I just really hate it, but I'm glad to see that a lot more people are speaking out about it.
Exactly. 100%. Everything you said. It's putting it into a word. It's internalized fat phobia, whether it is just for the self of fearing getting to that, but then really questioning, like, why, what is the deeper issue? And
well, and then, like, you see a lot of these top coaches, they were already thin people to begin with.
That is true.
A lot of them were, especially, like Lindsay Matway. I mean, she was already a thin person, for, or, they only had 10 pounds to lose. It's really, from people looking on the outside, they're like, oh, I could do that too, when they're not the same body type or age, or have the same sort of privilege that they have to, be able to eat healthy or buy $130 bag of Shakeology every month.
Right.
It's
so one thing, like, we can talk about how everybody has different kinds of like different colored eyes and different skin tones and different athletic abilities. But when it comes down to body size, there's this idea that we all need to strive to a specific body type when we have so much variation outside of that. So why would we expect that body type to be similar?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Especially, you know, for, you know, like I said, I'm a tall person, and, you know, for me getting down to 140 pounds, I mean, I even had my friend's mom, I had posted a picture and she was like, you look sick. Like, are you okay? Like, that's how thin I looked. Like my collarbones were sticking out. Like, I mean, my hip bones were sticking out. Like it wasn't a healthy weight for me, but you know, I didn't see it that way at the time.
Wow. So for anybody who might be in that situation and wrestling with all of that and having that kind of thought of this might not be supporting a healthy relationship with food, but I'm also still part of it. What would you tell them? And then after this, I want to ask, what has recovery been like when being completely out of that situation?
I would say if you are going through this, and especially if you are someone who has been following these Beachbody meal plans, I would say, how do you feel after you complete a program? How do you feel a week after you have completed it? You know, are you constantly shaming yourself because, you know, maybe you go out for dinner and you have a margarita, or, you know, maybe you go to a birthday party and you have a piece of cake. You know, are you shaming yourself for eating that food, and then do you just keep eating because you just say, oh, I've already messed up, I'm just going to keep, you know, what's the point? I would say, you know, really take a second look and kind of like reflect on yourself and just realize that, you know, these people that preach this, they really don't care about you. It's all about just making money and putting more money in their pocket. Because, you know, as we know, it's are preying on our vulnerabilities and our how we self-conscious we are about our bodies, especially in this day and age, social media, and um, trying to live up to how the Kardashians look, or, you know, with everything is filtered. And I would just say, you know, definitely talk to a professional and someone who is actually licensed to help guide you through it and get you back into a healthy mindset, because Beachbody definitely is not going to do that for you whatsoever.
Even the intuitive eating.
Yeah, even the intuitive eating, like, I mean,
not legitimate intuitive eating that can, but the Beachbody coach who is selling an intuitive eating program. That's
yeah. And see, I never did the 2B mindset. So,
oh, not that one. So there's a top Beachbody who has her own separate thing going on.
oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So
interesting. And like, and it's like everybody kind of categorizes intuitive eating in a different way too.
right.
So it's that's also a slippery slope.
Yes, not knowing that it is a book by 2 registered dietitians. There are principles within there. It is a very specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
To not put a random definition over. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, you know, when I kind of finally got over the whole portion control, you know, that's when I kind of discovered tracking your macros, and that if it fits your macros, you can eat it. And that just made me feel a lot better. Like I don't have to shame myself for eating something because it fits within these guidelines. And I just felt like that was a a better approach to health overall. And I could have those treats or cheats, and I don't even like to call it that anymore. It's not an everyday thing, but hey, if it fits in there, I don't have to feel bad about it.
Right. I found that a lot for people working through that. I said working, working through that. What I have seen, and this is just anecdotal, but going through those kind of portion control fix and then moving into a more flexible macro, and then moving into more of how does my body feel? Where's my hunger at? What sounds good? And all of those things. So it's kind of it's a work in progress, and it takes years sometimes to get to that place.
Yeah. And I'm still working through that. And I think that I'm definitely a lot better off now than I was when I started, because now I really don't try to, I really try to stay away from the scale. Whereas, with Beachbody, I was weighing myself every day. I just really try to go off of how my clothes fit. I know that I'm, working out at least 4 days a week and for 30 minutes, and
Enjoying it.
what brings me joy because, it started out as I did, I enjoyed working out because it made me feel good. It made me a better mom. It gave me more energy. I was less stressed out. And, when I went through all that, it was like, and when I realized like how just toxic the whole thing was, it kind of ruined my enjoyment of being physically active. And it took me a while to get back in it. Like I couldn't do a home workout for the longest time. Like it took me forever to actually, because Beachbody ruined it for me. Like I had a negative connotation associated with it, like working out at home. And it took me a while to even be able to enjoy doing like a yoga workout in my living room. And that's when I got into, I did Les Mills for a while, and they have really great at-home programs that you can do. If you're looking for something other than Beachbody, that's not going to be toxic. And then now I do Peloton. I know I feel like I'm like a walking ad for Peloton right now, but I swear I just really love it. And it's a really just great environment. And, like I was telling Alonda, I've never felt like I have been pressured to eat a certain way or look a certain way, or have supplements pushed on me with the infomercials like they had after every, or like, the sponsored ads, like Autumn would be like, after a workout, I'm going to go make my Shakeology now, like go make yours. And, it was always that push to, be using all those supplements. And even when I started, it was just Shakeology, but now they have like the performance line and the collagen and the greens powder. And it's just like, how much, you don't need all that stuff every day. It's not, it's too much.
That's perfect. It really is. Oh man. So those are all of my questions. Was there anything else that you wanted to make sure that you said to anybody, to viewers?
I just want people to know that there is a better way. And I think especially now, like the heat, especially with the anti-MLM movement, the heat is on these companies to make sure they're not overstepping. They are really cracking down on being compliant and not making these outrageous health claims as they did before. Saying that Shakeology can do all these things to improve your health, when we know it's not true because it's not FDA approved. And just know that there is a better way for you to be healthy and not succumb to and be sucked in by this toxic diet culture that really just wants to take advantage of you. So you continue to buy into it, and they profit from you because of it. There's plenty of ways that you can, you can go on Pinterest and find free meal plans. You can go on Pinterest and find free workouts, or YouTube and find a workout plan. Even I tell people all the time, if you want to get into a workout routine, and say you work at or somewhere, like a lot of gyms will offer, discounted memberships to like healthcare workers, or, things like that. Through Jake's Hospital, we get free membership to the gym there on campus. So, there is always a way, and there is, you don't have to spend money to be healthy.
I love that.
Yeah.
So do you want to plug your Instagram, your channel? They will all be linked in the show notes or in the description box. I always go back and forth between podcast show notes and description box.
Yeah. You can follow me on Instagram. I am at the Amber Nye. And I just don't talk about this kind of stuff on there. I talk about fashion and makeup, because I like to show fashion on, mid-size, larger bodies. I'm a very happy, healthy size 12, 14. I'm very proud of that. And because, that is the average size for an average woman here in America. And a lot, people just need to see that you can be healthy, and you don't have to be, a size 4 to be that way. And my YouTube channel is Amber Nye, Unfiltered and Unafraid. That's my channel name. And I do what we're doing now. I just bring awareness and talk about the dangers of all of these companies, and making sure that people can be aware, so they can spot those red flags and the caution tape, and know what to look for, so they don't get sucked in and taken advantage of.
All right. So go follow her, folks. And that's it. Thank you so much, Amber, for coming on.
Thank you, Kat.
That's it, folks. Thank you again, Amber, for coming on and sharing your experience. I really appreciated it, and I'm sure the viewers appreciate it as well. If you have not checked out her channel yet, go check it out. It is linked down below. And remember, you can strive for health without subscribing to diet culture. All right. Bye.